Yo, We Made It podcast YouTube clip here. This will not be going up on iTunes and Apple Podcasts, whatever. We decided to do a little bit more content, cover some games, do some game recaps, and upload them exclusively on YouTube. Most of the time, these will probably be me separate from Big C's, but obviously, we're still going to do the weekly podcast. But sometimes I'll watch some games or he watch some games and we want to cover them, but it's kind of like too much to cover for the podcast. So I was like, yo, let's do some clips or do some videos and just put them up on YouTube covering some games. So yeah, this is the first one of those. WeMadeItPodcast.com, at We Made It Podcast on all social media. This is a Prince shirt here. Prince, the legend, the philosopher, rest in peace. So today I watched two games. Crazy games. You guys probably already saw them. Man City versus Watford. I want to get into that first. I was kind of annoyed because I did actually record this game, but I can't even remember why I did because it's not a game I would usually watch. But, you know why? Because I wanted to see their response after losing to Norwich last week. But obviously they won in Champions League against Shakhtar. I think it was like 3-0. But I wanted to see this, but then it was kind of annoying because I ended up seeing the score before I was able to watch the game. So I did see that it was 8-0, but I wanted to watch it anyway. Just to see kind of what happened because obviously you don't see blowouts like this very often. And Watford's like a pretty solid team. Like they're not, elite obviously in EPL, but they're not bad and they can play some good football here and there. And what's his name? Dale Feu is a pretty good player. I had to ask the question, and you guys can respond or leave it in the comments, whatever you think. Who do you blame for massive losses? Who do you blame for that? I say that you got to blame the coach because at some point, especially in football, when you go down 2-0, you can still play football and get back. When you go down 3-0, even 3-0, especially because it was early, it was like the 12th minute when it was 3-0 in this Man City match for Watford. Even then, you can still kind of play football. But when it gets to 4-0, you got to get into stop the Bleeding FC. Like, you cannot be playing football anymore. The coach got to tell the players, tell your captain, be like, look, just don't let them score. Leave one dude high, and not even that high, and like everybody else low block it. And let's try to win balls and just shoot them forward as in a counterattack. We can't be playing football anymore. Anybody who watched this match, you saw Watford, even still towards the end of the game, having players forward. Like, Man City would like win the ball in their own half, and there's like only like 4 Watford players back defending. I'm like, dog, what are you doing? Obviously, their coach, he just came back, Kike Setien or something like that. I don't know if that's him or whatever, but I think he made a mistake in saying, like, okay, whatever, anomalies happen. They go up 4-0 in the 15th minute or something like that. There's a goal in the first minute. There's penalties, free kick, just random stuff happening. Oh, actually, I also did note that it was 4-0 and what's his name? I don't even remember. Benjamin Mendy had not been involved in any of those 4 goals. But you have to stop the bleeding. That's it. You cannot play football anymore. 1-0 down, 2-0 down, even in my opinion, 3-0 down, you can play football and play your game and try to get back in the match. Because obviously, winning 3-1 don't look that bad. Losing 3-1 don't look that bad. Losing 3-2 don't look that bad at all. But once it gets 4, like, y'all are out of it. You got to completely change tactics, low block it, 2 close lines, and leave one dude up top. And let one dude chase whoever when the center back has the ball for Man City. It was it was rough. There's some beautiful goals, though. Kevin De Bruyne's the last goal of the match. Kevin De Bruyne had a nice golazo there. Bernardo Silva obviously had the hat trick. In the 49th minute, when Bernardo Silva scored, I was like, why is Watford still trying to play football. Like, why? You have to try. Yeah. Anyway, stop the Bleeding FC. Also, one thing I noted in this match is that Pep Guardiola is wearing cargo pants. What's up with him? But yeah, crazy match, 8-0 to Man City. In my opinion, they're still playing the best football. And they won this match without Raheem Sterling. In my opinion, they're still playing the best football in the world. And anybody who want to argue that, they would probably argue Barcelona. But I just finished watching Granada versus Barcelona. I didn't really care too much about the match. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see who's starting and who I want to do a tracker on. Griezmann was starting. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll do a Griezmann tracker because I don't really care about the match that much. And then in the second half, because in the BVB versus Barcelona match, I did do a Ansu Fati tracker to see what was up with all the hype. And then this match, I did Ansu Fati tracker. He came on in the second half. Anyway, Griezmann tracker, horrible, garbage. Griezmann, terrible. He contributed nothing to this match. In the first half, I put 4 bad plays, 1 good play. The 1 good play was generous. In the second half, I have nothing to report. He didn't do anything. If anything, it should just be all negative because he didn't do anything. But this dude was so bad, absent, pedestrian. I mean, Barcelona looked bad, but like for 100 million whatever euros they got Griezmann, like he's just a non-factor in matches like this. It reminded me of the first match I watched him against for Barcelona. He was horrible. And then Ansu Fati came in the second half. I put 3 bad plays, 3 good plays. It was a little bit generous in the good plays. Barcelona looked really bad. They're missing Messi. Messi obviously came on in the second half. He's looking a little bit overweight and sluggish. He's obviously trying to get back into game shape, and that's going to take some time. But for not having him in and having a dude that you spent 100-something million euros on, like and Antoine Griezmann, offering nothing at all. Ousmane Dembele would be so much better playing in a match like this. I don't know if he's hurt or if they're just like kind of icing him out. I'm not sure. But anybody who watched Granada versus Barcelona, Griezmann, non-factor. Ansu Fati came in. I'm not saying Ansu Fati was a non-factor, but I did the tracker because there's so much hype around him, and there was nothing special there. The only thing good was that he was actually taking on defenders, something Griezmann cannot do. That's not really part of his game. He was kind of going at them and trying to see what he could do, but it didn't really work. That's not really what they needed at that point. They needed like kind of a goal in a corner or something like that to get themselves back in the game. The game ended 2-0 to Granada. The first goal, dang, I can't even remember the goal Granada got. Damn, that's a shame. I know the second goal was a penalty. What's his name? Vidal ended up swatting the ball in the box. Not all the way swatted, to be honest, but it was definitely a handball, and Granada got a penalty. But yeah, it was like 60-something minutes before Barcelona even had a shot on target, and I think Granada had 4. Horrible. But yeah, anyway, not going to make this too long. Make sure you check us out. WeMadeItPodcast.com, @WeMadeItPodcast on all social media, Instagram, Twitter. So we're going to be doing a little bit more of these videos, just putting them up on YouTube, just to go over some games, interesting games. We actually watch the matches and we talk about the matches that we watch, and we don't cap about players we've never seen before. But sometimes I like to watch Valencia and I like to watch Arsenal, and maybe those games we're not going to always talk about them on the podcast, but I do like to talk about them because I love the sport. Anyway, We Made a Podcast. We Made a Podcast on all social media. Hopefully Caesar got some Serie A stuff coming. Yeah, holler.